The reigning defending champions of the Division II Clyde District return to defend their crown here at Robert J. Bishop Stadium, where top-seeded Lexington looks to ride their 7-match win streak into the district finals against a young and aggressive Vermilion squad. It's live and free high school tournament soccer exclusively on the OH.Report. Coming your way right now. So the defending champions here of the Division II District back in action, as is myself and Travis Berardi. I'm Brian Skrosky. Thanks so much for joining us here at Clyde. And real quick, loaded roster here for Lexington. Might have even got a little bit deeper, Travis, with the COVID restrictions. They've had some young guys thrown into the mix, trial by fire, their head coach Peter Tem says. So they're talented and maybe have even developed more weapons just by virtue of the new policies.
Yeah, I mean, COVID's really hurt everybody. Yes, Lexington didn't have a spring, didn't have a summer to get better, because you think if they had that, they would be better than their number 7 ranking in the state right now, but still 14-3-0 is a really good record for them. But like you said, they had the roster restrictions because of COVID, not as many people on the sideline. So Peter Them put some of those guys, said, you're coming up and you're going to be playing because we can't bring everybody else up, and it's helped them, especially, when we get to past this season, having that experience. But Lexington's still rolling along with those punches, taking it one day at a time, keeping that that positive mindset. And you know what, they've had in their 3 losses, they took the best effort from Ashland early on. They took their best effort from Worcester, and then they played really competitive at home on the grass against Bay, the top team in the state.
And on the flip side, the Sailors and their coaching staff, they know that they're up against it today, and they faltered a bit down the stretch. 7-3 in their first 10. Didn't go so well for them over about the last month, but they're here. They're into the round of districts, and this is a really young, fiery team that the head coach said that he just likes what they bring to the table. They're always ready for practice, games. Seems like they're up for the challenge tonight.
Yeah, he said they're a young, anxious bunch. They always bring the energy and effort, but they have to keep their composure under pressure because, with all the star players they have out for Lexington right now, they got to keep that composure. They have to play their game because they're going to set up in a more defensive set tonight against Lexington. So they're going to have to play kind of like what Lexington did against Bay last year in that regional semifinal, where Lexington played a lot of defenders back, and when they had that 1 or 2 chances at the goal, they scored. So just look to see if Vermilion can play really solid defense and then maybe get a couple chances to score, get on top early, and then you never know, ride the momentum.
About 2.5 minutes in, nobody really has built any momentum, but the Minutemen looking to do just that. They can attack you from so many different ways.
Yeah, multiple high goal scores. I mean, Ryan Parker, 25 goals, 18 assists, probably going to be another All-American this year. Trevor Fair, who you saw going down the left side, 16 goals, 6 assists. Gage Potter, 9 goals, 9 assists. And something that surprised me, Teddy Tagliotti, only 3 goals and 10 assists, but at any point, this kid can go off.
Yeah, he's definitely got the size. Big midfielder, sometimes will shift back and play in the defensive third. Here he is pressuring right now, and you see he's just a ferocious type of guy in the midfield, always brings the energy, and likes to bring the fight to the game, if you will. So Minutemen, once again, a lot of guys out there that can get the job done, and that's why they've got 14 wins and 17 tries, despite the fact that they've been wearing the bullseye firmly and largely right in the middle of their back all season long after going to the state Final Four last year. So Teams have been giving them their best shot, like you mentioned already, and so far they've been up to the challenge with the exception of a couple of occasions where they did drop some matches, but dang, to some pretty stout competition. I mean, Worcester, the kings of the OCC this year. We know Bay still undefeated, #1 in the state, and then Ashland, maybe the one game that head coach Peter Tem feels like they probably could have had back, could have done better to perform, as here's Trevor Fair having it poked away from him at the last second. Brandon Binder there, the senior, doing a nice job defensively.
And he's just going to kick it out, let the defense reset. But even that Worcester squad tied for 14th in the final Division I poll. Bay, they actually did drop a game late. They're 12-1 now. But, yeah, like you said, those three teams, Ashland, they put up a really tough fight against Findlay, and their sectional game up at Findlay fell 4-2. But, I mean, not a bad loss for Lexington either, being 14-3. And that's why they're 7th in the state, with a lot of teams with only 2-1 losses in the top 15. So that's a really good ranking for this Lexington squad despite 3 losses.
Maybe even undervalued, I think, at the #7 spot in the state, as many returning starters that they had from a team that broke so many school records a season ago. They went 21-2, as mentioned, all the way to the state Final Four. And what a season Ryan Parker had during that All-American season. Over 30 goals for him. He was unbelievable, has followed it up this year. It's been a nice senior season so far for Ryan, and I don't think he's committed anywhere. Some coaches probably here in the building tonight wanting to check him out and see what they're going to get at the next level from this kid.
And hopefully some coaches watching live and free on the OH.Report as well.
No question about that. Appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight on our YouTube and Facebook channels. We always love knowing where you are taking in the action from, too, so weigh in on the comment section. Let us know, how are you watching today's Division II semifinal match, as that's a nice sliding breakup there by Gus Masterson. An all-district selection, and a kid that Vermilion's been relying on all season, definitely been a standout for him.
And going back to saying Lexington was a little bit undervalued right now, I think so many people in this state, especially the ones that don't look at Lexington's schedule, don't see what they do day in, day out, I think they had such high expectations for Lexington that those 3 losses did bump them down. So some of those people that don't, from the area that doesn't pay attention to what Lexington does every game, probably thought, okay, 3 losses is 2 or 3 losses more than they thought Lexington would have, and that's probably why they're #7 as well.
But you see how well they control the ball, and I think what is the biggest feather in their cap is just how poised all their players are. They can always wait until the last split second until the pressure arrives before they make their decision. And there's not a lot of teams that can say that, and certainly the Sailors are one of those teams. Talking to Kurt Innes before the match, and he said that's kind of the one thing that they've been working on all year is just, maintain your confidence when there's defenders coming towards you. You don't always have to give it up in a hurry, in a rush, and he said if they can do that here tonight, that they may have a good opportunity to stick around in this match.
And I like the game plan also that he's implementing today is he's cutting the game in the 10-minute increments. So you're going to have 8 pretty much quarters of this match for them, and if they can win 8 of the quarters, they're gonna have a chance. So they're playing pretty much 8 games of 10 minutes.
Oh, but here's number 10 getting loose, and there's going to be a penalty kick on the way as Trevor Fair clearly got ripped down from the back there. Just over 7 minutes here into the match, and the Minutemen with their first real opportunity coming up here in a second. And it's all set up by the distribution of Parker. You see with the left foot, always on the money. He's so good, measures his passes so well, and there's no question about that from the backside. Brandon Binder just kind of had to bail out, drag him down. So here is the senior All-American Parker.
Yeah, I think 9 times out of 10, most players can't make that pass that Parker did. And that was beautiful. He threaded the needle, and you really can't stop that.
Tough to coach, too. Just one of those abilities, one of those gifts that he has. As he comes, he strikes it, and there's
what a
save. Diving to make the stop to his left, Logan Coe.
That's why he's first team SBC Lake right there. And Vermilion's going to need to have saves like that today if they want to stay in this. And that's a good start by that goalkeeper.
Wow. Impressive stuff right there. So the Minutemen now off the corner kick. They send it back out. Tagliati into traffic. Ricochets away. And then a chance for Fair off the header. Just over the top crossbar. So Cohen Company keeping it a scoreless match, and man, that was an impressive diving stop right there, because oftentimes, and especially against a kid as talented as Parker, you just got to guess which way you're going to go. He guessed right, was able to get the hand up. We're still knotted at 0-0.
And he didn't do one of those guesses where right as he's kicking it, he dove. He waited to the last absolute second to see where that ball was going and then reacted to it and made the save.
So Lex back with possession. Looking to work it down the far sideline. And you see how the Sailors are really packing it in. And this is typically not their strategy, but Coach Ennis said that today, against all these offensive weapons, that they kind of needed to pack 9 guys back on defense whenever Lexington gets on the attack. And it's been noticeable. There's white jerseys all around these Lexington players. Though, man, look at the setup.
Wow,
the good one-timer.
Pass.
Parker somehow squeezing through, got a foot on it, and a whistle is going to go against Ryan Parker, I think. Might have grabbed one of the defenders to try to get an advantage just outside of the box.
But yeah, like I said in the open, kind of like what Lexington did against Bay last year in the regional semifinal, stack the box with defensemen and have 1 or 2 midfielders, forwards back, just in case you can get a breakout, possibly score, take the lead.
Keeper all the way out to play this one. So we'll see if Lexington tries to challenge, and they do. This one's poked way up in the sky by Weber. Now Tagliati through a couple of defenders. Lays it out to Depperschmidt.
Oh, nice move there.
Draws a couple of different defenders and pushed out wide. Triple team now.
Yeah, you're going to see that a lot from the Vermilion defense here today. Multiple double, triple teams on any of the forwards that try and make it into the 18.
Sailors looking to clear out of the box. And they'll do just that with Worth.
That's not what Vermilion wanted there. It looks like they wanted to clear it back towards midfield. Couple whiffs there. Gives Lexington another offensive chance.
So they'll play it into Depperschmidt. Misjudged that one to Tagliati. But everyone right now back playing defense for Vermilion. They don't even have a striker up near midfield. I mean, they were all packed in within the 30. And sometimes that's the type of strategy that you need to implement. And ultimately, that's what got Lexington past Bay last year in the regionals, as they played a really defensive-minded strategy.
Oh, nice steal.
Yeah, as Parker tries to slip one through to Fair and nearly got that. It probably would have been more of an own goal as Parker tried to squeeze that in there to Trevor.
They're saying it's deflected, so...
Oh, it was absolutely deflected.
Yeah, Minutemen will get a corner out of it at least.
Wow, look how close that was. So 2 near misses now by Lex. And we're still scoreless. Just over 11 minutes here into this first half. Depperschmidt, backside, had a couple of options.
And by stacking that 18 for Vermilion, they're looking to frustrate Lexington. Maybe force a couple errant shots, get them frustrated, get them off their game with this defense. And other than the penalty kick, the foul on the breakaway, Lexington, a couple near misses, but they were contested shots.
Sailors have done well defensively thus far. It's sort of prevented them from getting into the attacking third, but as long as you can stay clean on the score sheet, that's what matters for them. As this one sails over the top of everybody, past the back posts. Nice hustle, but Potter can't keep it in play.
Hey, and if Vermilion can somehow, through 80 minutes and then overtime, prevent Lexington from scoring, it's 0-0 in the penalty kicks, and you never know. But that's a long way away. We're only 13 minutes into this one.
Fair wisely plays it off the defender, so this should set up another corner kick. Actually,
it was a throw-in.
Yeah, sets up a throw. And this one
nice
rips
shot
by Tagliati. Making another nice save there, though, was Coe. He's already got 2 big saves here, came in with over 80 on the season.
And really, that was the first solid attempt during play for Lexington, as that through ball is deflected away.
Lex now to the back line, gives me a quick opportunity to give a shout out to Crystal Fair, cheering on Trevor from Pickerington, Ohio, as well as Samantha watching Trevor in Cincinnati.
And I see there's 98 of you out there. Come on, there's got to be more than just 1 or 2 people that want to comment. I mean, we'll get you on the air right now. Vermilion trying to finally get across midfield. I mean, they haven't been in the Lexington side since the first couple seconds of the match.
And what's so unique about the beautiful game is the fact that that can be the case. Lexington can completely dominate as they set one up here for Fair, and he does put this one away at the 26:06 mark. So the Minutemen on the board. They had 2 big opportunities, and then finally, Trevor Fair gets him on the board first.
That offense is just too good right now for the Minutemen. I mean, just watch the passing right here. A little give-and-go action.
That was actually the save earlier.
Yeah.
Tagliati with the big shot.
But anyway, the passing is just, I mean, it's too precise. And it's, I mean, the best teams, it's hard to defend.
So Lexington strikes first. And this is not where Vermilion wanted to be, playing from behind. And again, you see just the confidence and the poise that everybody out on the field in the black jerseys has. They wait until they have to pass it. And more often than not, I mean, they measure it beautifully, Travis. I mean, this team doesn't make very many passes like that. Tagliati with the turnover, but Lex fighting to get possession right back.
Yeah, but then the hustle by him, yeah, he made a mistake, but he didn't lower his head and pout or anything like that. He actually fought back and got possession back.
Potter finds Fair again, looking for his second. Deflected, but then put into the back. Isaac Weber with his 4th goal of the season. 2 goals in a 1-minute span.
And there's that composure, that pressure being put on Vermilion. They give up the first goal. Might have started taking it out of that mindset of we have to play defense. Now we're down, trying to do a couple things, and Lexington able to really pounce on that and get the goal.
2-0 advantage now for the defending district champion Minutemen.
Now Vermilion, really, they have to change their game plan. They can't play 9 people back in the box. They're going to have to try and at least cut into this lead. That's going to be a handball.
Whistle goes against Quentin Adams, one of the top scorers for Vermilion during the season.
And honestly, other than the 3 losses by the Minutemen, their closest match was a 3-1 victory against Ontario opening night. Other than that, 3 4-goal victories for this Minutemen squad. They're just that impressive.
They've definitely been dominant for the bulk majority of their season, despite not having a spring, no summer, and that's something that Peter Tem said. I mean, they really needed about the first month of the season to figure out what type of team they really had, because they only got a couple of weeks. Tagliati tripped up there. He's a tough kid. I'm sure he's going to bounce right up. But really just a couple of weeks for these teams to get ready. And I mean, it wasn't just exclusive to Lexington. And for them, fortunately, they had so many veterans returning from the team that went to the Final Four that they were in a good spot. They were working out routinely during the home lockdown phase in Ohio. So I think they're just now starting to develop and play their best soccer. As this one sent Parker there. Coe comes out.
And I believe that was a foul for running into the keeper. So that'll be a goal kick.
And it must have been from the backside. What Ryan Parker did is legitimate. Gage Potter, I think, must have got him from behind.
But back to what you were saying, Brian. Yeah, they, despite getting a couple weeks into the season to really get things going, they beat a good Lima Shawnee team 6-2 in the third game of the season. They beat an Ontario team that'll be playing after this one in the district semifinal. Beat them 3-1. They beat Mansfield Senior as well. They dropped that tough one to Ashland 3-2, but Ashland not a bad team in the OCC. They finished at the top of the race as well with Worcester.
Well, because all these awesome athletes they have. You see how Ryan Parker, he puts that right where it needs to be, fair, able to leap up over everybody. He's got great size, got a head on it, just couldn't keep it down that time. And the goal differential for Lexington throughout the season, they outscore their opponents by over 5 goals per game. They allow less than 1 on average. Just dangerous on offense and really shuts you down defensively. And I'd say that's typically a pretty awesome formula for success.
Definitely. And Lexington likes playing on, well, first, the amazing grass that they have at the high school, but they have a soccer facility. It's not like most football fields where you're playing sideline to sideline, especially like here. I love this facility up here at Clyde because they're able to expand to an actual soccer field length. And Lexington loves spreading you out and playing on more fields like this. And I believe that's why, even despite it being Game 7, they did lose 2-0 to Bay, but they were in it the whole time.
Yeah, he definitely said that spacing is what's important for his team. Vermilion does a good job this time of breaking it up, but you saw the beautiful spacing. There were 3 guys coming in for Lexington, all of them separated by about 5 or 6 yards of each other, so that they play their lanes to a T when they get on the attack. And that's what makes them so hard to defend. You can't just be in one place as a defender and control 2 of these offensive players for Lexington because of the spacing, like right here. Beautiful stuff.
Exactly.
Options everywhere.
And no, at first it looks like that's just going to be kicked away down towards the goal, but then you see one of those wing forwards just fly down the field. They have speed as well. They have speed, they have finesse. They can feed the ball through a pinhole like you saw earlier. This team is scary good. We saw it last year. They had a rough second half in that state semifinal. That's a team that most likely had a good chance of winning a state championship, but they kind of tripped over themselves late and lost in that state semifinal. And I think they have a chip on their shoulder from that as well, knowing they could have played for a state title last year and tripped up. But now they're back. They have the numbers. They have the players back, led by an All-American, and we'll see what they can do. And also, like I said about the field, they're going to be playing on this field if they do advance. If they hold on, they'll play a district championship, and then regionals is at a neutral site, and you'll know they'll probably want to play on a field that's as wide as this. So pretty much the rest of the way, they're probably going to be playing their game on a field that they want to be on.
This one's sent forward. See if Parker can catch up. Apply some high pressure. It looks like he's at least going to win possession here with the throw-in. Just purely off of the hustle right there as he came down on Cameron Logue.
And it's just those little things that makes him even such a great player. He has the goals, the assists, but those little things as well, it frustrates defenses and it leads to goals.
You saw that was a pretty nice feed that he had there to Gage Potter. Threaded it between a couple of defenders. Gage just wasn't able to get his left toe on it quite like he had wanted. So it sets up a goal kick here for Co. Sidewinder right to Parker, and he's so good, he actually headed that, and I saw where his eyes, he tried to put it too fair. A lot of kids, they're just trying to get in the way and get that first touch.
They're just trying to deflect it towards the goal, but he has that accuracy, and if you and I did that 10 times, I don't think any time we'd be able to direct it that way. He's just that good.
Though we were out on the fields earlier today, Travis, running 40-yard sprints, and I must say in boots that I was a lot faster than our crew anticipated that I would be. We really impressed. So just thought that you guys should know, not only are we covering sports here on the OH.Report, we're also trying to stay in the top peak condition that we can. I believe that I was close to 6 seconds on my 40 time.
And I was just under 7, so that's happy for me. with the build that I have, short, chubby guy, like under 7 seconds right now at 32, I'm completely happy with that. And we have to be in shape. We got a full week of broadcast coming up. Multiple sports, football, volleyball, and soccer.
That's right. Lots of district action on the way. Regional semifinals for football. Our producer just looked at me with a face that indicates that he's not impressed with our athletic prowess, but you know what? We're here for the kids, so we'll just let it be at that. We'll get back to the soccer.
And not only the kids, but the families that aren't able to make it here. That's why we're doing it this year, for you, the fan, that cannot be here.
Like Don Height Davis, checking in from Lexington. I know that we've got a beautiful graphic that's going to pop up with everybody who's watching at some point here.
Got to give a shout out to Adam, too, for all the hard work that he's done this year, all the cool graphics, and he's done an amazing job.
Fan Zone, I know, is definitely a favorite of our viewers at home.
And a
chance
favorite
to see
of
their
one Jory
comments.
Hollenbeck as well. She loves it, too.
Top fan.
And I just love that we have the opportunity to cover these teams. We really haven't had a chance to cover Lexington much this season, so this is a pretty cool opportunity for us, not only for them, but for the Ontario Warriors, too. We haven't seen much of these two teams, and now, at least for tonight, maybe for a couple days from now as well, we'll be able to see these squads. So I've been looking forward to covering this district.
Yeah, definitely. They're the top two seeds out here for a reason, and if it were to be chalk, the expectation is that we will see Lexington versus Ontario for another district championship, which we saw a couple of years ago, and it was an unbelievable match that came down to the very end.
Overtime, I believe, yeah.
Lexington also needed overtime to win the district last year in an unbelievable match against Madison in Mansfield. I mean, that was...
Wasn't that the Trevor Fair golden goal in 2 or 3 straight games?
It wasn't Trevor Fair. They had a gentleman who graduated off the team from last year whose name escapes me, but yeah, he had golden goals in 3 straight games, I believe.
A header in overtime to beat Madison, and then Shawnee in the regional semifinal, he had a goal as well late to pull them ahead for that one. But you know what? We're talking about Ontario. Don't count Norwalk out. I know you saw them against Clear Fork in the sectionals championship game, and they impressed you.
Well, they've got, arguably one of the most talented kids that's going to be here on this field. Could probably be a starter at his position for anybody except for maybe Lexington and Will Gelhausen. And he had a hat trick against the Colts as Parker comes charging in. But well done by Binder to just get a foot up, disrupt that, force a throw in here for Lex. But yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be the featured match tonight. Norwalk versus Ontario should be very competitive. I know the Warriors beat them earlier in the year, but talking to Will in a post-game interview on Thursday night after the win over the Colts, he said he feels like they're a much better, much more competitive team than they were earlier in the season when they saw Ontario. And plus, that was a road game going to the Ontario Soccer Complex. So I do have that one circled tonight as a premier matchup. Should be a lot of fun. Couple of deflections right there. A lot of hustle being showed by Luke Roberts.
Yeah, really frustrating, that defense of Vermilion. They're just trying to clear it out back towards midfield, and he's just been hounding them on the offensive end.
Fair taking his time. Saw Parker, who was trying to inch his way in behind the defense.
That's going to be a corner.
I believe this is the 3rd corner here of this first half for the Minutemen. And Parker is just absolutely deadly with these, and more often than not, Tagliati will be in front of the keeper, keep him occupied, and they'll have Trevor Fair charging in. Here is Teddy, though! The recipient.
Hit the crossbar of the field goal post, but man, just over the crossbar. Minutemen so close to being up 3-0 there.
Here's another look. Man, Teddy coming off of his assignment from the keeper, perhaps by design.
And look at the elevation that he had there, towering over everybody else on that jump.
Well, when we asked Kurt Ennis, the Vermilion head coach, what are you most worried about for your opponent today? That was the second guy that he named after Ryan Parker. He said, of course you have to game plan for a kid like that. There's no question about it. But as soon as we double team Ryan, they'll have guys like Teddy Tagliati coming up behind him on the midfield that are just as dangerous in the attacking third. So number 9, definitely a guy that you got to keep an eye on, and a lot of these Lex guys. I mean, geez, the list goes on and on. We've already been talking about it for 30 minutes here, but it's true. I mean, this is one of the top teams in the state for a reason. They train hard. They've built something over the last several years under Peter Tem, and that's why perennially they're in the conversation to be a district champion, as they are the reigning defending champs here at Clyde.
And, I mean, Ryan Parker, yeah, he's an All-American alone, but if it wasn't for players like Trevor Fair, Gage Potter, Tagliati, he wouldn't have 25 goals. He'd probably have maybe 15, 16 goals. But because of the players surrounded by him, it opens it up a little bit for him to succeed even more.
That's what great players do. They make everyone better, and I would say that there is no player in our area that elevates the prowess of their teammates more than number 1 in black here. And just because of his passing ability, and like you said, his finishing ability, when he gets opportunities, boy, you can always pretty much count that Ryan Parker's going to make the right play.
And I know we're talking about Lexington a lot, but you got to give it to Vermilion. Other than that header chance, they've really closed things down defensively to keep this at a 2-0 score. After giving up those 2 quick scores, they could have, really collapsed there, but they regained their composure, and they're keeping it somewhat close right now.
Just a 2-goal deficit for Vermilion as we approach the 11-minute mark.
And now they have it in the Lexington offensive end. This is one of the best chances they had, but flicked on and saved.
Yeah, that was Binder from way outside, probably 40 yards out.
First shot of the game for Vermilion.
And pretty much the first time that Caleb Reinhardt has touched it. Has not had to do much. And he did have options there, did Binder. But sometimes when you're behind, I don't mind deep shots like that.
Yeah, you could get a deflection, you can get a rebound that somebody can come in and get the goal off, but he didn't get enough on it to cause any of that. It was just a gentle bounce right into Reinhardt's hands.
Fair turns. Lots of space. Feeds it in. Parker on the run. Not going to get there. Locked up stride for stride with Gus Masterson.
Yeah, the first team SBC Lake midfielder, and that was a very good job of him just shutting down that lane and keeping Parker from getting to the ball, allowing his keeper to get out there without creating a foul either. He just screened him pretty much all the way down.
Tagliati gets pressured, has to come back to Depperschmidt. Now on the near side. Roberts right back to him. Just the patience, man. I can't really preach it enough with this Lexington team. That's what sets them apart. Yeah, they got great guys when they get the ball that can do great things with it. However, it's their ability to assess the field and make the right play when they need to. A lot of teams cannot do that. And the Minutemen can. As this one gets set up, bouncing out of play, will it be actually it's going to be a goal kick. Potter looked like he wanted to set up for a big shot, and it got away from him on 2 different occasions.
Yeah. But going back to Lexington's just composure, waiting to the last second, it's kind of like they have 6 or 7 quarterbacks out there. Quarterbacks waiting, evaluating the whole field, waiting for those receivers to get open, and then at the last second letting it go. And that's what it reminds me of a Patrick Mahomes or somebody like that, where they're just eyeing up the field, waiting. They see the blitz coming, but they still have the composure to wait to that last second to get it off to get the good pass in.
Well, there's only one Patrick Mahomes, and I would say probably on this team that would be kid wearing number 1. But they got some Baker Mayfields out there.
Ben
in the mix.
Roethlisberger's,
A couple Big Bens. Second ball leaks out onto the field, so Fair's going to drop it and allow Roberts to come in.
Under 9 minutes left here before the half.
Hathaway deflected. And then Adams lost his footing, had it taken away, but he really didn't have anybody running with him either, so that's going to be a problem for Vermilion. They are doing well, down just 2 goals. However, the name of the game is to score and be on top.
And they've only had 1 offensive chance.
So staying in the game is important for them. You don't want to dismiss that, but at the same time, when your teammates do get the ball, if you're wearing white, boy, you got to think that you're going to need to start making some runs at some point. And really, I've only counted twice today where Vermilion's got into a good rhythm where they've had the ball with kids running lanes.
Yeah, and you'd think if they were down 1-0, yeah, this would still play because you're only in the first half. But 2-0, that's kind of cutting it close right now because they do need to get these offensive chances, especially if they've only had 2 in 33 minutes of play. You really have to think they have to start applying the pressure. But, hey, that doesn't matter because Lexington just got on the board again.
Yeah, puts him in an even deeper hole. Ryan Parker, left-footed blast-off. Look at this one. He catches everything. And it's the great ball movement that sets it up, but Parker sets it up with the one touch. Zing, right into the back of the net. Perfect placement where it needed to be.
You just can't leave him open like that. He had a clear shot of the goal. He had the momentum going that way and just nailed it to the back of the net.
And Parker with a fresh haircut, just got it today. I noticed he was running his gloves through his hair right there, so he's feeling himself a little bit, and rightfully so. Got to see him on top 3-0. Under 8 minutes to go here in this opening half. Minutemen looking to punch their ticket back to the district championship game, where, of course, they are the reigning kings here in Division 2.
As well as regional champions.
And I know, of course, that's their big picture goal is to get back to the state Final Four and, you know, even get further. Didn't make it all the way to Columbus last year because of that second half. I don't know if you can call it a collapse as Tagliati came in.
I mean, they tripped up a little bit. They let a couple goals that
question.
Most likely and not probably doesn't happen against them, but that's just the situation of the game. It's a state semifinal. You're going to get both teams are going to give their all for it, and you know you get one bad pass here or there, it's going to lead to something like that happening.
Here's Parker again. So smooth and crafty. Tries to sneak it in, and here's the shot just off the mark from Luke Roberts. So the sophomore had a couple of nice chances here in the first half.
Able to get a little bit of that spin-a-rooney move. Get a full force behind that on the spin. Just wide left.
Vermilion sends this one deep. Only player there was Adams, though, that could have any shot at it. He's the lone striker playing up top right now. Seems like Vermilion's got about 6 midfielders. But they're just having so much trouble possessing the ball. I mean, unofficially, I'd say Lexington probably has had about 75% of the ball domination here in the first half.
You know, I'd even say 80. Lexington, I mean, maybe 3 minutes the ball's been across the 50 into Lexington's defensive zone. But you know, they're playing their game right now. They're spreading Vermilion out. They're, you know, getting that 50-50 ball most times than not. And, I mean, putting 3 goals on the board also helps.
Looking for more here. As Parker tried to dish it and then make his run, Starling couldn't handle it. But Lex still with possession. Hunter zips it out wide, and now a throw-in coming up for Depperschmidt.
Coming up on 5 minutes left here in a half.
And a substitution. Looks like Parker is going to get a quick breather.
And with the 3-goal lead, that's just an extension of halftime for him. He gets the 10-15 minutes of the half plus the 5 minutes here, and it's not going to hurt Lexington that much just because of the way their defense has been playing. Those defenders really shutting things down.
Depperschmidt gave up the body with the header. Keeping Lex on the attack. Tagliati spins one into the box. Set up. One-timer. Potter. Just off the mark, man. They've had probably about 6 shots here that have either touched the post or have missed by just about 3 inches, Travis. They're right on it. And talk about being on it. How about this new plane that they have here at Clyde? I mean, that's what winning state championships in football will get you.
You win
man.
a state championship, you get yourself a little bit of a. I guess you could say that's a trophy for them.
That's pretty cool, man. It definitely sets the scene out here.
Yeah.
No question about it. Our camera guy Garrett asked if he could get his picture on top of it. He's a decent-sized person, though. We're going to probably ask for permission after this match in between and see if we can't make that happen. It looks like a pretty sturdy structure, though. Should be able to handle him.
Yeah, definitely. There's a little. It looks like there's a seat up there in the cockpit. Maybe put him in there.
Be a cool picture.
That'd be our new logo of the OH.Report. Flying the new heights.
Minutemen looking to reverse field.
You really don't see Vermilion pressuring them at the midfield either, allowing Lexington to really set up their offense and get those crisp passes going. You'd think Vermilion would try and give a little bit more pressure being down 3 goals.
You know, sometimes that's by design, and I've talked to a lot of coaches about that, and sometimes you're telling your defense, wait until they get across this particular point before you start going towards the ball. That way you don't get beat.
Oh, nice through ball.
And it's set up. Oh, another near miss right there. Gage Potter, 2 chances here in the last about 2.5 minutes. One of the leading goal scorers on the team for the season.
Just look at that pass just behind the heel of Cameron Logue. And nearly the 4th goal for Lexington.
Yeah, and I love these young guys. I mean, P10 was talking about some of the kids trial by fire type of stuff. I mean, Luke Roberts probably is one of the kids right here that's got possession. Exactly what he's talking about with the restrictions on how many minutes you can get and the rosters and all of that. He said there's some kids probably not ready for the varsity level, stepping up, playing some big minutes for him.
And that's going to pay dividends for the Minutemen for years to come as well. Yeah, they're going to lose the likes of Parker, Tugliotti, Fair, but they can pretty much reload with the valuable play time these kids are getting.
Yeah, it seems like definitely this program is at the point now that there is no rebuild, not even for a season, not a half a season. The next man up, they're ready for action day one here with Lex.
And especially with the youth sports that goes on in Lexington. I mean, every Saturday morning you go into Lexington, all those soccer fields are filled with kids playing in the morning, so you know that soccer is really building to being one of the big sports in the city of Lexington.
Just under 90 seconds to play. Roberts, offsides is the call. So as we approach the half here, if you're just joining us, it has been all Minutemen, no question about it. They are dominating the time of possession. Just about every quality build into the offensive attacking third has been by Lex. Vermilion only has 1 shot to date, and that was from 40 yards out, and didn't even really test Reinhardt. So this is what you call getting dominated, for sure.
I mean, if it wasn't for a couple missed shots by mere feet and that saved penalty kick, this would be a pretty much perfectly played half for the Minutemen.
They've definitely had their opportunities to extend the lead well beyond 3, and they've got 20 seconds here. Still trying to get to work. See what they develop. Hunter sends it out wide. Now sent in Depperschmidt. Ricocheted out by the defender. So good job there by Logue.
I don't think they're going to get the corner off.
Well, it looks like they will, but it's going to get disrupted, and that will take us to the end of our first 40 minutes. We're on the Mechanics Bank scoreboard. It is 3-0 in favor of Lexington. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll be back with first half stats, talk a bit about the first half, get you ready for the second 40 minutes. Keep it here, live and free high school soccer on the OH.Report.
We are uniting Park National's family banks under one name to serve you more.
This bank's about
service to the community.
I mean, your customers become your family, and by and large, you become their family.
Customers do come in and they do feel like they're a part of our family, and they feel like they know us and we know them and we care.
Park National, our family of banks, all together now.
Subscribe or be subscribed.
District semifinal soccer on the boys' side. It's 3-0. Lexington on top of Vermilion at the half on our Mechanics Bank scoreboard. All Minutemen up to this point. We'll see if that plays out in half number 2. Take one more time out. We'll be right back here at Clyde. It's halftime here at Robert J. Bishop Stadium on the fabulous campus of Clyde High School, where Lexington right now on top 3-0, and there is the tale of the tape. Clear and total domination by the Minutemen during the first 40 minutes, Travis.
Yeah, 12 shots on goal, 12 shots, 6 of them on goal. Only one save for Reinhardt, and that was a little ground ball pretty much to him from 40 yards out. I mean,
Can of corn, as they say in baseball.
Yes, can of corn, but I mean, Vermilion, that Lexington defense really hasn't allowed Vermilion past midfield at all. 2 assists on their 3 goals. It's Parker and Fair both have assists. 5 corner kicks. No yellow cards, no red cards. As for Vermilion, they have that 1 shot on goal. They have 3 saves. No assists, no corners, no yellows, no reds.
Lexington, they just work so well in unison, do the 3 levels. It talks about the defensive unit didn't really allow for any shots to be lifted towards Reinhardt, but really it's the midfield dictating most of the action, getting it up to their superior wings and forwards that are maintaining the possession for them, and that's a huge reason why there's only been 1 shot that's been developed for Vermilion, because of how well the Minutemen have maintained possession. And boy, they just spread the field so well. Only seen them in person 3 times so far this season, and it's been at the very beginning of the year, a few weeks ago, and then now. And in my personal opinion, this is one of those cases where they're improving from week to week. This is a team that's gotten better from the beginning of the year to where they are now, firing on all cylinders, and they are going to be very, very tough to knock out. I mean, let alone Vermilion trying to come back here from a 3-goal deficit. It's just getting a goal on them is going to be challenging.
And Vermilion, they're going to have to change up their game plan. They can't keep stacking 9 people in the defensive box. They're going to have to try and attack now, because a 3-0. If this is 0-0, yeah, you can continue playing that. 1-0, maybe you continue that defensive strategy. But now, I mean, you're down 3. You can't just keep holding Lexington in your own defensive end. You're going to have to try and attack.
So Kurt Innes, what is he telling his kids right now? What type of adjustments can they make in the second half? Certainly after you see a team for 40 minutes, there will be some weaknesses that you can try to exploit. I guarantee that Vermilion will find new avenues to try to attack Lexington here in this second half. We'll just see how well it works out for them. And then on the other side, for Peter Tim, I mean, boy, they had a lot of things developed that they just missed out on getting goals. So if it's just more of the same, they're going to be punching their ticket into the district championship.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. They've been pretty much flawless other than a couple errant shots. But, yeah, just keep on keeping on for Lexington.
We'll take one more timeout. We'll be back. Second half action live and free. Tournament soccer on the OH.Report. Second half action just about to begin here at Clyde. But before we dive back into soccer, let's go into the fan zone all across the country. Where are you watching from? There's Crystal from, well, right in pretty much our own backyard, Pickerington, Ohio, just south of Lexington. We've also got Samantha watching from a little bit more south in Cincinnati, cheering for her Uncle Trevor, number 10. Hey, watching right from Lexington, Don Height Davis says, "Go Lex," and right now she's had a lot to cheer about. And back to midfield where there's some kids also from Lexington looking to be playing again on Thursday night, and potentially they could move that match like they did last year if Ontario were to win the second half of our doubleheader tonight. Great potential, I think, for that match to be moved right back into the city of Mansfield, where we could see Lexington and Ontario, cross-town rivals in a lot of ways, playing in their home county.
Backyard Brawl, Part 2.
We'll find out. Still 40 more minutes of action here, and the Sailors, boy, they got to do a lot more than they did in the first half if they want any chance of stunning Lexington here in this second stanza. And already with a throw-in in Lexington territory. That's about only the second time they've had that here this evening. So a good start for them, at least having possession, though momentarily in enemy territory.
Yeah, now you see 7 people across midfield for Vermilion, when in the first half everybody was pretty much playing back to the midfield stripe.
Parker had it poked away, backside. It was Matheson coming over to make the play. And then this right here, when Lexington has the ball, they've had so much time when their defenders to be able to make their decisions. This is what Vermilion needs to do. You see they have all 4 of their midfielders coming up. They've got some high pressure, and don't let the Minutemen just, punch it around wherever they want. And right now, they've got possession.
Yeah, you're going to have to apply some pressure back there. Like I said, in the first half, Lexington passing it backwards, just pretty much standing there, allowing everything to develop. Now Vermilion applying that pressure a little bit more, forcing them to go a little bit earlier than they wanted.
Well, you give so much praise to, the poise of these kids for Lex and how they'll allow the defense to generate towards them, make their decision last second. At the same time, boy, if you are pressured, it makes that pass or that move that you're about to make a lot more challenging. So we'll see now with this high pressure that Vermilion is pushing on Lex, if it makes a difference, and if they can get a few more shot opportunities. I think that'd be huge for them just to get a shot off here in about the first few minutes, get some confidence under their belt, and potentially have that fuel them for the rest of the match.
You see from Vermilion, Quentin Adams pretty much running the whole length, sideline to sideline, trying to apply that pressure.
But this is what it can do if you do apply that high pressure. Hostetler on the cross, had fair there, but headed out. So you are more susceptible to the counterattack. So there are pros and cons, of course, but at the same time, when you are trailing, you have got to try to get your offense going and try to generate some more type of situations where you can get into the attacking third. So I like what Vermilion is doing here in the first 3 minutes.
And that was Alex Worth that tried to create something. He's their leading scorer, 9 goals, 2 assists. And Coach said before the game he's a dynamic and dangerous player, so maybe if he can get an open look or two, he might be able to create something.
Big play there by Logan Coe coming off of his back line to disrupt Parker. Deflected it. Thought Ryan might have a wide open net and an easy one, but fortunately for him, the spinning of the ball went the other way. And so the lead maintains just at 3-0 for the Minutemen.
Good job by Will Hostetler to really come up and stop that Vermilion chance.
Now Parker unloads from outside. 30-yard shot. Skips into the hands of the keep. Coe's punt. Takes a hop and then headed by Tagliani. Sailors now with possession, looking to move forward. Tried to send it down the wing. But as mentioned, Lexington, these kids, they come up, they do a good job of stopping you before you even get started. They're not going to wait for you like Vermilion did in the first half and then pressure you once you get to a certain point. Minutemen are very aggressive along their back line.
And they can be with the the amount of playmakers they have on offense, but then they have solid defenders that you can take that chance and still have somebody behind you backing you up.
Teddy with the left foot drives one, but missed his mark. So the Sailors with possession, and a push is going to be the call against Weber. So these are always good opportunities for you to at least momentarily set up, move your offense forward, and we'll see if Vermilion can get in the attacking third. They can, as Worth, who is their top playmaker. Coach said he's easily the most dynamic player on the field, but just a freshman, though. So, I mean, there's going to be growing pains, and especially going against these veteran defenders like Lexington. He looks like he's been pretty frustrated for most of the night. Every time he touches it, I mean, he's had to give it up pretty much right away.
And that's not just him, but that's about 80% of the opponents Lexington has played. They've frustrated everybody except for Ashland, Worcester, and Bay. That's what Lexington will do. They will frustrate you. They will get you out of your game, and then they'll start piling on the goals.
Hostetler has to backtrack now through the midfield. Great pass to Parker. Can't thread that one through. He had Fair on the other end. And a bit of an ill-advised pass there to Worth.
And another nice job by the Lexington defense to just come up and force that errant pass. It wasn't a strong pass and was able to be easily picked off. Look at that.
Parker through the middle. He's got some space. Lexi take a couple extra touches,
my.
And no question about it. Coe tried to come off the back line, and Parker waited till the precise, exact right minute. As you see, he's pointing to Hostetler on the beautiful setup. Man, soccer's fun when you're scoring a lot of goals, ain't it, Ryan? Check this out. So, look, he does the hesitation move, brings Coe out just to where he needs to be, and then just smashes that one. Nobody better than Ryan Parker at measuring just exactly when to unload.
And all it takes is that foot or two that Coe did. He moved just slightly to his left, and it opened up that hole to Parker to just place it right into that left corner of the net for the goal.
So now 33-33 remaining on the clock. Lex in total control and looking for more.
Parker's second of the night. Hostetler with the assist.
Gives Ryan now 27 goals on the season, adding to his spectacular career numbers.
It's fun when you have one of the best boys and girls soccer players in the state in North Central Ohio, isn't it?
I mean, it's a pleasure to watch, and I think in particular, since they play the midfield and then the striker position, it really kind of showcases their talent. The other player being Taylor Huff, of course, for the Madison Rams. So, when it's players that get into the assist column and get a score of the goals, boy, when they have great foot skills like this kid does, Ryan Parker with the left foot this time. Unbelievable. Hat trick now for Ryan Parker. He's got the last three for the Minutemen, and they are just running away with this thing.
It's just so impressive that he goes with his off foot and still powers it into the back of the net. What a pass, too.
Trevor
give
Fair.
And go.
And that one's easy for Parker, too. And like we were just talking about less than a minute ago when he scored, the way that he is able to set you up when he has a one-on-one with the keeper, I mean, you can just go ahead and book it. Put the stamp of goal approval down, because Ryan Parker is going to wait until you make the wrong move or until you're, off your balance, and he typically strikes and strikes well.
Yeah, 5 points tonight for Parker. Fair with the assist. He has 2 assists and a goal, so give him 4 points tonight. And it's just it's spread out, spreading the love. The crisp passes by multiple Lexington offensive players really opens things up.
Just missed. Setting up Parker again right there was Trevor Fair. And you can tell these two, they just have that connection, man. Like, they've been playing with one another for so long that they just have a feel for one another.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love that.
This is like pickup ball at this point.
Oh.
Fair with the one-timer, disappointed in
he
himself.
Had an open shot.
I thought he was going to drop down and start doing push-ups as a punishment.
I mean, this is just crazy, Brian. Just right through the 5-hole, completely set up a screen, if you would, set that up for the cross, but then Fair, he knew he missed a golden opportunity there to get his second goal of the night.
And even though this Lexington team doesn't have similar record, last year's team won 21 straight games. They were unbelievable. I actually think that this team could be better, more talented. They only graduated a few players last year that were key playmakers for them, so I'm really not surprised to see Lexington now in the second half with a full 5-goal advantage, just playing free and doing what they do. When you're this talented and you play with each other as well as these guys do, may as well just cut loose and have some fun with it. And right now, I mean, pretty obviously, Minutemen enjoying themselves right now.
Well, that experience from last year has just been great for them. I mean, other than a few people, did you really think that they were going to come back from an 8-0 loss to Bay and win in that regional semifinal? I mean, that win just propelled them, gave them confidence, and then, the slip up a little bit in that state semifinal game. But they have that experience now. They know that they can play with the best in the state, and now that confidence just off the walls for them.
I will admittedly go on record and say it was a cold night when they played Bay last year in the regionals. It was pouring rain, and, it's my own equipment that I'm bringing out there. I almost said to myself, man, they're going to get thrashed. Do I really want to go out into the elements with my own camera and have to deal with this? And boy, it was one of the best decisions I ever made because that was an absolutely electric environment. Lexington played that game plan to a T and propelled them into the state semifinals. That was an awesome experience, and boy, it's looking like this is a team that might be able to get back there again as they're on the attack.
And just with the way they played Bay in the regular season too, a lot closer. They play here, play there, and that match is completely different with the outcome. So that confidence from Lexington is they're going to get another corner kick here, but just the confidence is a lot higher than it was maybe at midway through at the end of the season last year.
After Logue punched that out, Minutemen with a quick restart. Fair off the cross. The header is down.
Pinballed around.
But right place, right time. Corbin Herkler was there protecting the corner of the net. Now here's Vermilion trying to set up a counterattack. Battagliati waiting for him as Massey had a pretty firm touch.
Massey, one of the many players with 5-6 goals on the year, and that's something that Vermilion did. They didn't just have one dominant scorer. They spread the love during the season.
Here's Parker backside, but sliding in to make the stop, Loken Co. He's been a busy kid here today, over 80 saves coming into the match.
And if he doesn't come out and attack that ball and get it, that's another goal, easily. So that was a nice play by him.
Whistle goes against the Sailors, and I love how Lexington, unless they're like 20 yards away from the goal off the restarts, they don't try to do set pieces. They just try to take you off guard. They get right back to it.
Yeah, immediately they just kick it in. Just even if it's like a 5-yard pass instead of even some of these corners, they just dinked it in, then get the cross. And like you said, it throws them off. That one extra pass is all it takes.
And it's paid off well to help Ryan Parker get a hat trick, and still plenty of time to get even healthier on the score sheet. 27 minutes to go. Tagliati with the through ball to Fair. He turns and finds a lot of space. 5 men in the attacking third for Lex, and Fair's going to rip this one himself from 15 yards out. But Co is there again.
5th save for him tonight. Lexington's 9th shot on goal.
And if you're Caleb Reinhardt down at the other end, boy, hopefully he packed like a snack or something, or got a book to read.
I thought I saw him go to the concession stand a few minutes ago to get a hot dog.
And he could have, and nobody really would have noticed. totally untested so far in the second half. Just one shot by Vermilion in the game to this point. Total control by the Minutemen. Tagliati, deep shot. Got fair charging. And nice play. Lowe just heads it back to Co. About all you can do there.
Yeah, definitely. That's a nice play by him, because they would get a little flustered with that and try and play it out. But for him, just do the fundamentals. Just head it back to your goalie, let him reset it for you.
Minutemen with a turnover. Here's Worth. He sets it up. And this time Reinhardt was actually needed. Second save here for him.
And Reinhardt was in perfect position. He was already down in that shortstop ground ball position, just waiting for it to come at him. And that was a big help from his defenders, too, because they really shut off both sides, so it created that just one angle that he was able to get ready to make the stop for.
So the stop by Reinhardt keeps it at 5-0 on our Mechanics Bank scoreboard.
That's save number 75 on the year. He has 8 shutouts this season.
Minutemen allowing less than 1 goal per contest on average. And look at all the time. Everyone defensively just standing around for Vermilion, almost like playing a zone defense.
You're saying they were giving up less than a goal per game last year? 1.27. So that team that went to the state semifinal actually gave up more than they have this year. Which that goes to what you said earlier. You think this is a better squad than last year. Defensively, definitely.
I think Lex actually is averaging a higher goal output total so far this year, too. And they've played less matches. Last year was the highest scoring team in the history of the school. So I think in terms of goals per game, as they're looking to get another one here, Parker kept it on the ground. Maybe a bit unselfish there. He had Hot Stessler on the charge. Probably could have scored that pretty easily if he wanted to. But trying to get Will onto the scoring sheet as well. Check this out. Probably should have just shot that one.
That was like an
in-between
in-between for him. He last second, instead of taking a shot, he saw him, wanted to give the love up 5-0, but, you know, if he takes the shot, that's definitely in the back of the net. Selfless play for him, though.
Parker this time just missed as he tried to get it to Alex Depperschmidt. And that's my favorite part about Ryan. I did get an opportunity to make a highlight tape for his junior All-American season for him, and his passing ability, because we covered them a ton last year, my goodness, he almost never, ever misses. I went through an entire game where he had like 18 passes and 17 of them right on the money.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And, I mean, one of the best passes I've ever seen was the first couple minutes. He threaded the needle between 2 defenders that were about 3 feet apart from each other, and he still got it between them for the shot attempt. I mean, this kid is good, and whoever, because we know he will go on to play college soccer, but whoever gets him is going to get one heck of a player.
Yeah, Ryan, certainly a nominee for player of the game, but weigh in with your comment. Who do you think has been the most outstanding player of the match so far up to this point? Let us know on the comment section on Facebook. And we do see that the Ontario Warriors have just entered the building. They're in the house and checking out the competition. 2 teams, them and Lexington, very familiar with one another, separated, I believe, by just about 8 miles, their 2 schools. And a lot of these players probably play club with one another, and throughout the years during their youth, many of them probably on the same teams or played against one another. So I do selfishly hope that we do get an all Richland County District Championship match. That'd be pretty fun to see these 2 tango again, because I know Ontario, they want another shot at Big Lex after losing a pretty good match. I think it was just 3-1 in the season opener. I know they want another shot.
Yeah, but that was August 21st. We're now 2 months after that. So both these teams better than when they started. Like we said with the COVID, they really got an extremely late start to their season, weren't able to practice until the beginning of August instead of having summer and spring ball. So both these squads, much different teams from then, but I mean, Lexington's gotten better as well, so.
Yeah, and you would hope, I mean, that's probably the case for just about everybody in the state. You wouldn't think that you would really regress much, particularly under the new normal this year where everybody got a late start. No off-season for anybody.
Yeah, the only negative would be if you had a couple players out due to COVID protocol. And I know Lexington early on in the season had a couple players, not because they had it, but contact tracing, which don't even get me started with that. But, having a couple players out like that may be the difference. I mean, in football we saw it despite them still steamrolling teams. Lucas was without a couple key linemen their first 3 football games. That shot's rocketed through the uprights for a field goal, but I'm talking about the wrong sport. But many key players have been out throughout the course of this year because of COVID and all that. So that might be something that plays in there as well.
Yeah, there's been some tough circumstances for high school athletes, and unfortunately the OHSAA has not got it figured out. The contact tracing has gone just a little bit too far, where kids that have negative tests are being forced to sit out 2 weeks of contests just because.
And I feel bad as that shot saved
Parker again.
Nice job by Coe. It did deflect away from him, but he was able to jump on it. But I just feel extremely bad for the Ontario cross-country squad. They missed out by 2 points because Brianne Trumpower not allowed to participate in the regional cross-country tournament because she was contract traced despite having 3 negative tests in a row. I mean, it's tough. It's just tough, the situation everybody's in right now.
Now this is a tough spot for Vermilion, but Coe again. Right place, right time, makes another save.
19th shot by Lexington, 11th on goal, 7th save for Coe.
The latest from Luke Roberts, who had options. I mean, they had a 4-on-4, so, perhaps a bit of an ill-advised shot that time, but sometimes when you're a sophomore, tournament game, you want to be the hero. And Parker this time with the left, diving to make yet another stop is Coe. He's having a pretty solid stretch right here to keep the score at 5-0.
Yeah, he's earning his spot tonight, as he's been peppered with shots here in the last few minutes.
Quick shout out to my guy Robert Hernandez tuning in on the Facebook all the way from Southern California. So we'll pin him here in just a few moments.
I like that he says we're better than ESPN. It's quite the compliment for 2 guys that are more football and basketball commentators.
So appreciate the compliment, Robert. As we're now down to 18 minutes to go.
I think it's safe to say Lexington on their way to another district final appearance.
Or they have made a routine of getting to that match.
And that's the norm at Lexington. It's pretty much a failed season if you don't make it to at least a district final now.
Lex had it developing.
Was
Brandon
that in
Binder.
the box?
That was outside of the box, but perhaps a yellow card might be on the way here for Binder. And it looks like he is going to get one. So here's another nice opportunity for the Minutemen from what's going to be about 22 yards away. We'll see if they elect to try to just lob one into the box, have somebody charge in for some headers, or if they let one of their stud athletes just rip a shot on net. And, from this close, I'd probably say that's the better decision. Just get a shot, and if it deflects, you got plenty of options there for the rebound.
My question is, up 5-0 with the Ontario Warriors watching about 20 yards away, do you give away your set piece, or like you said, you just rip it at the net? strategy right there.
Imagine Potter's probably just going to take dead aim.
It's good.
He does send it through the uprights, but the score maintains 5-0, and a bit of gamesmanship there from Ko. I saw last second he shifted all the way to one side of the net, knowing that he had a wall set up on the other side.
That'll be a throw-in for Vermilions. We are approaching 17 minutes left here. Ryan Parker with the hat trick tonight.
And that would certainly be the player that would receive my vote for player of the game, and
by far.
Likely will be on his way up here to the press box for a post-match interview with us.
7 total points tonight.
Player of the game brought to you by Mechanics Bank, as well as our scoreboard. And we'd like to thank all of our generous sponsors that allow us to bring you coverage live and free. Boys Tournament Soccer, Park National Bank, Black Belt Pro Fitness, Freightwatch Logistics, Mechanics Bank, of course, and then Spherion Mid Ohio.
If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to show these games to people like Robert Hernandez, who he's watching his nephew Teddy Tagliati from SoCal.
Teddy also having a phenomenal match here, and here's a good opportunity, maybe the best here of the second half. Masterson on the run, sets it up, left-footed shot, just too tall. Measured that one pretty well, though. Third shot of the match now for the Sailors.
So you take a look at the replay here. Quite the effort from the left foot.
Chances have been few and far between for the Vermilion offense. Really no build-up. All 3 of the shots that we've seen have come from outside of the box.
But with the defense that Lexington's been playing, I mean, that's the only chance they have. If you take it in any further, you're going to have 2 or 3 black jerseys right in front of you.
Ethan Hunter, great move. Got by the defender. Now sends one middle, had Parker there. Was in a lot of traffic, and it leaks out to the perimeter, and Roberts sends it back. So Lex keep in possession.
You see 5 black jerseys on about the 25-yard line. Even if Vermilion flicks it back out, you have 5 guys able to reset the offense for you.
And that's always been their strategy and their mantra is that high press. Lexington never lets you relax, never lets you breathe. Because just like you said, if you try to send a through ball or clear it, the Minutemen defenders are up so high that they're basically still in the attacking third, and they're in solid position to get it to their midfielders, who can send it forward to players like Fair, Parker, all those great weapons.
And now's a great chance for Coach Them to put in some of those younger players now. I mean, you have a 5-goal lead, about under 14 minutes left. This is a district semifinal. I mean, Vermilion, they're here for a reason. They won a sectional championship. They are one of the best teams in the Lake Division in the Sandusky Bay Conference. Getting that time as that shot just off the crossbar of the goalpost.
Great attempt there from Max Repola.
But getting these younger players in there, this is valuable time for them. In case maybe down the line you have a COVID case or you have an injury, these kids, they'll be ready to play.
It's actually Jared Culler, the senior, was looking for his 3rd goal of the season, the captain. Just missed tall.
And that has to be about the 7th combined shot by both teams that have just missed the net tonight, Brian.
And that's kind of soccer in a nutshell. Game of inches. You hear that about a lot of different sports, but I would say this one definitely falls into that category where, boy, you know, just a couple inches here or there, because goals, a lot of times for a lot of teams, they come at such a premium that just those couple of inches can be the determining factor in the match. And you look at Lexington, what they've done so far in this tournament. Their sectional semifinal knocked off the team that calls this field right here their home, the Clyde Flyers, 13-0. Then they really took it to Mansfield Senior on their home turf, 14-0. And it looks like they're in line for yet another shutout here tonight, Travis. Whereas Vermilion, boy, they were locked up in a dogfight with Mylan Edison, the 5th seed. We're able to knock them off on the road at the Chargers' home field as Coach slides in to make that save. Beat them 2-1. So it's just not the Vermilion team that we've seen over about the last 5. They've had some extraordinarily talented squads. 2016, I believe, rings a bell where they were able to get all the way to the regional championship game. But they've always had a kid on the team that could be their premier weapon that they could send a through ball to, and he'd go make a play for you. So while a team like Lexington would really dominate and control the action, all it would take was for them to send a ball, one deep ball, and then they'd have a kid that could go make a play for you. They don't have that kid this year, and it's really showed in this match.
No, definitely. And like I said, they have a couple guys. They have the 9-goal scorer in Worth, but then a couple guys with 6 goals. But it's back to those kids that were the high goal scorers. They helped build the program that Vermilion is here now. I mean, this is somewhat of a down year for them, but a down year in a district semifinal, I think that's still successful for a team like this after losing many players from the last couple of years.
Yeah, winning a sectional championship can be hard. As Coe, again, does a nice job to come off of his line to make the stop. He would be my player of the match for Vermilion.
Oh, definitely. He's pretty solid. And I mean, that goal, that save off the penalty kick to start the match was darn impressive.
Tagliati through a double team. Now Parker sends one.
Got it.
Back to the net. Teddy gets into the scoring column. He joins the party. It's now 6-0. Great pass by Parker. And then Teddy Tagliati does the rest.
So another point for Parker. And Tagliati with his 4th goal of the year.
Kind of surprising that actually he only has 4 goals. As much damage as he does, and particularly off of corner kicks. I mean, he's just such a big target. But definitely does his job, does it well. And like you were talking about, getting in some of these younger guys, Peter 10 basically just unloaded the whole arsenal right there. So we're going to see the future of Minutemen soccer over these last 9 minutes and change.
And going back to Tagliati, like I said earlier, he only had 3 goals going into this game, but he has the ability to be lethal for you. And with him, along with Fair and Parker and Potter, it's just there's so many big names that can score at any time. So it's just crazy about all the names that Lexington has.
Color had a nice run there, disrupted. As Vermilion against this, basically, I guess you could say that the JV half the squad out here for the Minutemen. They should be able to develop a few things here over the last several minutes, get more aggressive offensively.
And I mean, being Lexington right now with this JV squad, you still want the shutout. So they're playing for something right now. It's not just, playing out the last 9 minutes. They want to finish this match at least 6-0 because, your starters, they've set the shutout up for you. You need to finish the job.
It'd be the 4th consecutive shutout for Lexington. They were able to keep that goose egg up on the board.
In 8 games thus far, they've only allowed 2 goals. And then in the tournament here, 33 goals, none against. That's just crazy, Brian.
But I think more or less expected.
Yeah.
the Mansfield senior match, boy, they could have scored 30 in that one. They were up 11-0 with still quite a bit of time left in the first half before Peter Tim called the dogs off, put in a lot of his backup players. So, I mean, you see it. It's a great team. Could be state-bound again. Certainly will be moving on to the district championship match right back here, potentially at Clyde on Thursday. We'll see. If Ontario were to win, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, that they might move that match to Richland County to just make more sense. I mean, no sense in two teams that are 8 miles apart traveling all the way to Clyde to play a soccer match.
Exactly. And, I mean, we saw this with, I think, the girls' tournament a couple years ago that was supposed to be up here. They moved it to Madison because it was an all Richland County Final Four. I know the Northwest District is lenient about that stuff, where if they can get a field to play on, they'll allow it.
So some of the senior members for Vermilion also taken off the field to a standing ovation. 9 wins for them on the season, so like you said, it still pretty good year for them. Just didn't go so well for them down the stretch. I mean, got off to that 7-3 start and were able to get at least to this portion of the tournament. But it just wasn't a dominant team like we've seen Vermilion in the past. I mean, I've been covering these D2 districts for the last several years, and they typically are one of the top 3 seeds. You always know that they're going to have a very talented forward, and this year they do. Just unfortunately for them, it's a freshman who's going to have to fill into his shoes as Caleb Reinhardt has been taken out. Garrett Weaver, the junior, going to get duties for the last 5.5 minutes.
But even a 9-goal season for a freshman that the coach speaks highly of, this kid's going to be a force to reckon with for the next 3 years, not only in the SBC Lake Division, but in this district.
Owen Smith off the cross. Vermilion defense was there. Now that one's set up for a shot. Bounces into the hands of Coe.
That was out of bounds. They're going to let Lexington play it since they have possession.
Now here's Lucas Starling.
Nice pass.
Sets it up for Andrew
Just
Lowry.
played it.
Yeah, he's forced out wide. Pressured well there by Cameron Logue. And that one just pushed through by Roberts, but nobody at the other end. And that's the difference when you have the JV on versus having Parker, Fair, those other guys that are constantly always making runs at the right time. But you'll learn that in time, young lads.
Definitely, definitely. Getting that big playing time right now in the district, but give them some practice. Give them maybe some extra time here in the next couple games, and then a spring and a summer to get ready, and then those passes will be more crisp come next year.
That one nearly got to the other end to Owen Smith down the sideline, but well played by Massey, still in the game. Now the Sailors, for really the first time tonight, they connected on about 5-6 straight passes.
Just moving down to 3.5 minutes left here in the match. Lexington on its way to another district finals appearance.
Last year they met Madison, who was great senior-laden team. Really young Rams squad this year. Saw them in a match at the beginning of the year where they had 9 freshmen that got into the game. So Tim Lord definitely has done a pretty decent job to, just get through the season with all the restrictions and having to have a ton of youth on the team.
And they got better as the season progressed, which is something you want to see from a squad like that, young. look forward to see what they do here in the upcoming next couple of years.
This one misplayed. Shot fired. Matheson put way too much behind that one, though. I mean, I probably missed the target by a good 15 yards. But I think it's a lot more challenging than us common folk think. I mean, I have a young daughter who plays soccer, so I do go to the park with her every now and again, and I'll hop in net, and then I'll have her try to save some of my shots. And to keep the ball down when you hit it with velocity, you really do have to have a lot of technique. You have to approach and get over the top of the ball in just the right manner. So I do feel like soccer is a sport where it's dismissed a little bit how challenging it can be to send a shot with some high heat on frame.
Well, I mean, you just seen it tonight. How many of those shots went through the goalposts? And these are soccer players that have been practicing, have been playing for years. And then for you and me to go out there, no chance. And just to see how play is picked up in north central Ohio in the Richland County area over the past years, it's so many great teams come out of the districts year in and year out now.
Yeah, you're right. I would say roughly 8 years ago, as that was a nice run. Woodward trying to make something happen, and again, that one sails high. You know, it was pretty much just Mansfield Christian and then a little bit of Lexington, and that was all that we had down in our area. And now it's been, I mean, we saw last year the 4 teams that were in the district championship, I believe, were all Richland County schools.
Madison, Lexington, Ontario, Madison, and the girls' side. So you're seeing now on the girls' side, you're seeing Madison, Ontario, Lexington, Clear Fork. You're even seeing teams like a Shelby coming in now, a Mansfield Senior who looks like they're finally made the turn in the right direction. And then on the boys' side, you're seeing you have Lexington, Ontario playing in districts all the time. Now you see a Clear Fork that just won its first MOAC championship co-title with Ontario. And then Madison, yeah, they had a down year, but they've been good. So it's really been picking up.
But there is a clear-cut number 1 team in our area, and that's Lexington Minutemen with a huge 6-0 victory on our Mechanics Bank scoreboard. We'll step away. We will be back with some post-game numbers for you guys, and we'll have an interview with our player of the game, Ryan Parker, presented by Mechanics Bank as well. So keep it with us. The post-game will roll along live and free on the OH.Report.
We are uniting Park National's family banks under one name to serve you more.
This bank's about service to the community.
I mean, your customers become your family, and by and large, you become their family.
Customers do come in and they do feel like they're a part of our family, and they feel like they know us and we know them and we care.
Park National, our family of banks, all together now.
Subscribe or be subscribed.
So without question, our player of the game, Ryan Parker, accounted for 5 of the 6 Minutemen goals in a 6-0 victory over Vermilion. I've got the senior All-American joining me right now. Ryan, excellent performance for you, and you just seem so confident out there with the ball. Really, all your teammates, too. First off, tell me about your individual performance and the 3 goals, the 2 assists. How did it feel out there in this district semifinal, getting it done, doing big things?
So, right, yeah, we've never played Vermilion before, or at least I haven't in the last 3 years that I've been at Lexington. So we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into when we came in tonight. We just had to base it off their record. And going in, I think missing the penalty, it really frustrated me. The keeper made a great save, but I knew that I was going to get more opportunities, and I had to put those away if we really wanted to win this game. And then just as a team, we played amazing. Obviously, we got the clean sheet, so that's another one to mark down in the records, and it's just great to see the team play the way they did.
Yeah, 4 straight shutout victories for you guys, and it just seems like you're playing with such confidence. Everybody has great poise on the team. How much would you say this team has developed? It was a really strange offseason. You didn't get an opportunity in the spring and the summer to play with one another. How far do you feel like you've come over the last 2 months?
Without a doubt, we've come so far as a team. Just starting out, we knew that we had the talent to do what we wanted to do. It's just coming together as a team, and as we've progressed in this tournament so far, we've really been able to do that, and we're playing some of our best soccer.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to compare like last year to this year, but certainly a lot of the players are back that made that Final Four run, and I know that you guys have taken some steps here over the last couple of months. Does it feel like, again, like this is another special type of unit that might be poised for another deep run, though?
Yeah, we definitely have big things planned. Obviously, we just got to go out each game and play our very best. And we aren't last year's team, and we want to be this year's team. We want to build off of last year, but we don't want to be known as that. We want to be known as our team of 2020-2021 season.
How exciting is it for you to, at least to this point, being living up to those expectations, ranked number 7 in the state, 3 straight dominating performances in the tournament right now?
It feels great, and honestly, we just got to keep building off of it and look on to the next one.
All right, well, the next one coming up at least here tonight on our doubleheader is going to be Norwalk versus Ontario. Of course, you're familiar with both of these teams. You know what are you expecting from tonight's match? Give me a quick preview.
I think it's going to be a great game. I think Ontario beat them earlier 2-1 in the season, but right now with Will, with the form he's in for Norwalk, I think it's going to be a great game, and I think he's going to have a good showing.
You guys going to stick around and watch?
Unfortunately, we are not allowed.
Oh, you're not allowed.
We're not allowed with COVID.
With the capacity.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately for you, we're going to have it live and free on the OH.Report, so on the bus ride back, pull it up on your phone, your iPad, or whatever, and you can tune in.
Sounds great.
All right, our Mechanics Bank player of the game, Ryan Parker, did big things tonight. 3 goals, 2 assists, awesome performance, and a 6-0 victory. Thanks, Ryan.
Yep, thank you.
All right, we'll let you get out of here, get on the bus. We will welcome Travis back in and take a look at the final stats for the night, which, of course, dominated by the Minutemen, no question about that. I mean, they were in the attacking third, basically lived there for the bulk majority of the evening. Travis, 22 shots for them, dude. They were awesome.
Yeah, 22 shots, 13 on goal. Really, I mean, like I said before, after the first half, if it wasn't for a couple errant shots and that penalty kick save, it was pretty much a perfect match for the Minutemen. 13 on goal, 22 shots overall, 2 saves only. And that's all. I mean, not much on the defensive end back there in goal for Lexington. 4 assists, 7 corners. As for Vermilion, they had 5 shots on goal in the second half, 6 total, 8 saves, 1 yellow card. But it was all pretty much Parker and Fair.
And while it says shots on goal, really, I mean, Vermilion had about 2. Neither of them were very good looks. So you got to give a ton of credit to Lexington for the time of possession that they had. They dominated the midfield, and when they were able to get it to their key playmakers, specifically Ryan Parker, who just joined us for an interview, I mean, they were dynamite, they were lights out, and that kid, I love the reference, he's the straw that stirs the drink, but he does, man, like he mixes it all up, he blends it well, and he's such a stud athlete that it's going to be really hard to beat this Minutemen team. Whoever advances in this evening match, boy, do they have their hands full.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so many key pieces for that Minutemen team. It's just not Parker, but it's Fair, it's Potter, it's Tagliotti, it's the whole back line. And you got to give a shout out to the JV players that played the last 9 minutes as well, kept the shutout.
And I know that's something that Ryan mentioned in the post-game interview, that was important to them, to keep the clean sheet, keep the shutout string going. 4 straight now for the Minutemen as they advance into the district championship. We'll find out here later tonight on the second half of our doubleheader who they will play. Norwalk and Ontario is coming up, so we'll cut you loose from this game and get ready for the second half of our doubleheader tonight. Want to thank all of you for watching on Facebook and YouTube, and thank our phenomenal staff on our camera tonight. Garrett Parlin on the up top camera. Storm Blunchley was down at field level. Adam Thompson, our amazing director. I'm Brian Skronsky for Travis Berardi. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you stick around. More high school soccer coming up live and free exclusively on the OH